This video is about the Alpha defied his father by loving a poor Omega. If this story captivates you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. The moon hung low, casting a silvery glow over the sprawling forest. Its light revealed a hidden realm where shadows danced and magic whispered. In this world, two hearts were entwined, yet worlds apart. In the heart of the Silvermoon Pack, a powerful alpha named Kaelan paced restlessly within the confines of the grand wooden lodge. His dark hair fell in tousled waves around his face, and his striking blue eyes glimmered with frustration. The weight of his father's expectations bore down on him like a heavy cloak. Kaelan, his father, Alpha Magnus, sparked from the grand chair at the head of the room. The authority in his voice echoed off the wooden beams, causing the other pack members to shift uncomfortably. You must choose a mate worthy of our lineage, not some lowly Omega. Kaelan's heart raced, a mix of rebellion and longing swirling within him. He had long defied tradition, but this was different. Father, love cannot be dictated, Kaelan replied, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside him. I cannot abandon my heart. Magnus' eyes darkened. You think love is enough to lead this pack? You will bring disgrace upon us, and Omega has no place at my side. But Kaelan was not listening. His thoughts drifted to Alara, the beautiful Omega who lived on the fringes of their territory. She was a mere shadow in this world of dominance, yet her spirit shone brighter than any star. He had met her in the woods under the very same moon, and in that moment he had known she was his. Alara was humble, her family struggling to make ends meet in a life where power and status defined worth. She was the tender breeze that soothed his restless soul, yet he could not bring himself to claim her in front of the pack. The fear of rejection, causing her pain, gripped him tightly. As the meeting adjourned, Kaelan stormed out into the night. He needed to escape the confines of his father's expectations, to breathe free air and feel the wildness of his wolf. With a howl that pierced the quiet, he transformed under the moon, his wolf taking over. He ran through the forest, feeling the earth beneath his paws, the wind in his fur. But even in his wolf form, his heart longed for Alara. Their connection was mystical, something that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. They were destined to be together, but tradition threatened to tear them apart. Later that night, when the moon hung high above, Kaelan found her in their secret clearing, illuminated by moonlight. Alara was barefoot, her long hair cascading over her shoulders, her laughter ringing like music in the stillness. She turned at the sound of his approach, her eyes widening. Kaelan, she breathed, her expression shifting from surprise to pure joy. I didn't think you'd come tonight. I need you, Alara, he said, his voice thick with emotion. He stepped closer, the space between them charged with unspoken longing. You have no idea how much you mean to me. Alara's smile faltered, uncertainty clouding her gaze. But what about your pack? Your father, he would never accept me. I am just an Omega burden. Stop it, he urged, taking her hands in his. You are not a burden. You are my mate, and I will fight for us. I won't let tradition dictate my heart. The moonlight danced in her eyes, but doubt lingered. Your father will disown you. You'll lose everything, your rank, your family, everything you've worked for. And what is rank worth without love? He countered, urgency swelling within him. I would choose you 1,000 times over, Alara. You are my destiny. Tears glistened in her eyes, a swell of hope and fear battling within her. Kaelan, your pack represents strength, power. I am just a simple girl, with nothing to offer but my heart. I can be the cause of your downfall. He stepped closer, enveloping her in his warmth. You are everything I've ever wanted. You are the fire that ignites my soul. Don't you see? We are stronger together. Alara's breath hitched, her heart racing at his words. But as much as she longed to surrender to him, the fear of his father's wrath loomed like a storm cloud. What if I am not enough? She whispered, her voice trembling. You are more than enough, he promised, his gaze unwavering. You are the light in my darkness, Alara. I will face my father, but I need you to stand with me. A moment of silence stretched between them, the weight of their choices hanging heavy. But then, the distant howl of wolves shattered the fragile stillness, pulling Kaelan back to the reality he had tried to escape. I have to return, he said reluctantly, his heart aching. But I promise, I'll find a way to prove my love for you. I won't let anything tear us apart. As he stepped back, a small hand gripped his, desperation flickering in her eyes. Promise me, Kaelan. Promise me you won't do anything reckless. I can lose you. I promise, he vowed, his voice fierce. Nothing will keep us apart. But the truth of their world pressed heavily between them, a truth filled with pack hierarchy, traditions that bound them, and a looming betrayal that threatened their very existence. As Kaelan turned to leave, the moon witnessed their pain, a silent guardian to their love story yet to unfold. The following days unfolded like an intricate tapestry, woven with tension and unspoken words. Kaelan struggled against his father's demands while yearning for Alara's sweet laughter. Every moment spent in the pack house felt suffocating, a reminder of his impending choice. Meanwhile, Alara faced her own battles at home. Her family depended on her, and the whispers of the pack grew louder, scornful memories of Kaelan's affection towards a mere Omega. She could feel the weight of their judgment, the pain of being an outsider. One evening, beneath the silver veil of the moon, Alara stood at the edge of the woods, her heart heavy with longing. She could sense Kaelan's presence, the way the air shifted, charged with his essence. But the thought of him defying his father for her was both thrilling and terrifying. Suddenly, a dark figure emerged from the shadows. Lysander, the beta of the Silver Moon pack and Kaelan's closest friend. His eyes glimmered with mischief, but there was a seriousness beneath his facade. "Alara," he said, his tone hushed, "I need to speak with you." "What is wrong?" she asked, her stomach twisting with unease. "You need to be careful," he warned, glancing over his shoulder. "There are whispers of rebellion against the Alpha. Your presence in Kaelan's life is stirring trouble." "Is that why you've come?" she asked, her voice quivering. "To warn me away?" Lysander shook his head. "No, but I can stand by and watch my friend ruin his future. Kaelan is reckless when it comes to love. He doesn't see the danger." "Danger?" she echoed, her heart sinking. "You think I am the danger?" "That's not you," he insisted, his eyes softening. "But the bond between you two is strong. The Alpha will not tolerate such defiance, and there are those in the pack who would see this love destroyed. They'd go to great lengths to separate you." Alara's heart raced at the thought. "I can be the reason for a rift in the pack. I want to have Kaelan suffer because of me." Lysander stepped closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "Then you must convince him to choose the pack over you. It is the only way to protect him." "But what about our love?" she pleaded, tears threatening to spill. "What if we were meant to be together?" "Love can be a fragile thing in this world," he said, sorrow etched on his face. "And sometimes it takes sacrifice to protect those we cherish." As she watched him leave, Alara felt like a fragile leaf caught in a storm. She was torn between love and loyalty, a cruel choice that threatened to shred her heart. The night air was laced with uncertainty, but one thing rang clear: their love was destined to face trials, betrayals, and ultimately, redemption. And the moon, high above, continued to watch over their entwined fates, waiting for the moment when love would either shatter or triumph amidst the shadows of tradition and hierarchy. The days turned into a blur of uncertainty, and with each passing moment, Kaelan felt the weight of his father's expectations pressing harder against his chest. As the Alpha, he was expected to uphold traditions, to marry for power, not for love. Each morning, he awoke with Alara's laughter echoing in his mind, a sweet melody that lingered even in his dreams. Yet the reality of his pack loomed over him like a dark cloud. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the forest, he sought solace in their secret clearing. He arrived to find Alara already there, her hair shimmering like spun gold in the waning light. The sight of her stole his breath away, igniting the embers of longing within him. "Kaelan," she said softly, her voice a gentle breeze that caressed his weary spirit. There was a tension in her eyes, a mixture of hope and fear that made his heart ache. "I missed you." "I missed you too," he replied, stepping closer, the space between them charged with unvoiced emotions. "I need to know, are you alright?" Alara looked down, her fingers fidgeting with the hem of her simple dress. "I've been thinking a lot about us, about what it means to be with you." His heart raced. "What do you mean?" "I mean, Lysander warned me about the dangers. Your father, the pack, they want to just stand by and let this happen," she confessed, her voice trembling. "I can be the reason you lose everything." Kaelan reached for her hands, his grip firm yet gentle. "You are not a burden, Alara. If anything, you are the only thing that keeps me grounded. I can just abandon what we have because of some threats." Her eyes sparkled with tears, and he felt his resolve waver. "But what if it is not enough? What if this love leads you to ruin?" "Then let it lead me to ruin," he declared, the passion in his voice startling them both. "I would rather risk everything for you than live a life without love. You are my mate, Alara. You are worth every sacrifice." The air was electric as they stared into each other's eyes, the bond between them palpable, swelling with deep emotions and unbreakable ties. Yet uncertainty loomed over them, a shadow that threatened to choke their budding love. "Alara." He stepped closer, his voice slow and earnest. "I want to make this work. I want to fight for us, but I can't do it alone." I want to fight too, she whispered, a spark of determination igniting in her eyes. But how? Your father has the entire pack behind him. They will never accept me. Then we'll show them that love can conquer all, Kaelan vowed. We'll prove that the strength of our bond is greater than their traditions. They may not see it now, but together we can change the world. But as he spoke, doubt gnawed at Alara's heart. Kaelan, it won't be easy. There are forces at play that we can't even begin to understand. What if they come after me? His expression hardened, fierceness igniting within him. If they come for you, they'll have to go through me first. I will protect you with everything I have. Tears glistened in her eyes, and she leaned closer, their foreheads nearly touching. Promise me you won't do anything reckless. I can bear the thought of losing you. I promise, he said fiercely, cupping her face in his hands. Nothing will tear us apart, not my father, not the pack, no one. But destiny, it seemed, had its own plans. The very next day, as the sun rose, the atmosphere grew tense within the Silverman pack. Whispers of rebellion grew louder, and Kaelan sensed the unrest brewing among the ranks. Alpha Magnus wishes to address the pack, a warrior called out, his voice echoing through the sprawling lodge. Kaelan's stomach sank. He knew that Magnus would use this opportunity to denounce their bond openly. As the pack gathered, Kaelan's heartbeat quickened. He found himself standing beside his father at the front, the weight of the pack's collective gaze pressing down on him. Members of the Silverman pack, Magnus began, his voice commanding. We face a threat to our lineage, a threat that comes from within. Kaelan's blood ran cold. He exchanged a glance with Alara, who stood at the edge of the gathering, her expression a mixture of fear and defiance. It is no secret that my son has been seen with an Omega from the outskirts. Such defiance cannot be tolerated. We must act swiftly. The murmurs of discontent rippled through the crowd, and Kaelan felt a surge of anger. Father, stop, he interjected, stepping forward. This is not just a matter of tradition. This is about love. Love it? Magnus sneered, eyes narrowing. You would throw away everything for a mere Omega. You are the Alpha, Kaelan. You have responsibilities. I know my responsibilities, Kaelan shot back, the fire in his chest igniting. But I also know my heart. Alara is not just an Omega, she is my mate. You cannot dictate who I love. The tension in the air crackled, and Kaelan could feel the weight of the pack's judgment upon him. This is not just about you, this affects us all. Magnus thundered, the edge of authority in his voice. Your actions could lead to chaos within our ranks. Then maybe chaos is what we need, Kaelan retorted, his voice steady despite the storm within. Perhaps we need to dismantle these outdated traditions that dictate who we are allowed to love. The pack fell silent, the weight of his words hanging heavily in the air. Kaelan knew he was crossing a line, but the fire of his conviction propelled him forward. I choose Alara, I choose love over tradition, and I will not apologize for it. As the murmurs erupted, Kaelan caught Alara's eye, her expression a complex mix of pride and fear. The heart of the pack was pulsing with tension, but he felt something shift within him, a determination to fight for what he believed in. But from the back, a voice rang out, sharp and accusatory. You speak of love, but what of the pack's future? Are we to be led by an alpha who chooses a burden over strength? Lysander stepped forward, his expression pained. Kaelan, listen to reason. You are putting everyone at risk. You'll be challenged. There are those who will not accept this. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd, and Kaelan's heart sank. He had known this was coming, yet the betrayal stung more than he anticipated. You would side with tradition over your friend, he asked, heart lacing his words. It is not about tradition, it is about survival, Lysander replied, anguish etched on his face. I care for you, Kaelan, but you must understand the consequences your actions will have on everyone. Then I'll bear those consequences, Kaelan declared, his voice resolute. I would rather stand by my mate's side and face any challenge than deny my heart. Alara's presence felt like a lighthouse through the storm, her unwavering gaze fueling his resolve. But as the pack began to scatter into murmurs of discontent, he realized that his defiance came with a cost that could shatter their bond and bring chaos to their world. Later that night, Kaelan returned to their clearing, his heart heavy with uncertainty. The air felt thick with unspoken words, and he spotted Alara standing by the edge, her silhouette illuminated by the silver moonlight. Kaelan, she called softly, her voice barely above a whisper. What happened today? Father called for my rejection of you, and I stood my ground, he confessed, pain lacing his voice. But it won't be easy. There are those who will seek to challenge my authority for this. Alara stepped closer, her expression a mix of concern and determination. What do we do now? We fight. We show them that our love is worth the battle. I want to let tradition tear us apart, he vowed, but doubt crept in. but I fear what may come next. Together, we can face anything, she replied, her gaze unwavering. I believe in us, Kaelin. No matter what happens, I stand with you. As their hands intertwined, he felt the pulse of their bond thrumming beneath their skin, a connection that transcended words. I promise you, I won't let anyone harm you. You are my everything. But beneath the moonlight, the shadows whispered of challenges to come, of betrayals lurking in the depths of the woods. They stood on the precipice of something monumental, a love that could either unite their worlds or shatter them into darkness. Together, she murmured, her breath warm against his skin. No matter what they throw at us, we'll all face it together. And as the stars twinkled above, Kaelin held Lara close, their fates intertwined, bound by a love that would either change the world or lead them into the abyss. The moon bore witness to their vows, a silent witness to a love. The night air hung heavy with anticipation as the moon cast its silvery glow over the sprawling forest. Kaelin and Lara stood hand in hand, their hearts intertwined in a dance of defiance against the traditions that threatened to tear them apart. The shadows whispered of challenges ahead, of those who would see their love as a weakness rather than a strength. I can feel the tension in the pack, Lara said, her voice trembling slightly. What if they come after us? I can't bear the thought of you being hurt because of me. Kaelin squeezed her hand, his grip firm and reassuring. They'll have to go through me first. I won't let anyone harm you, Lara. You are worth every fight, every sacrifice. His voice was imbued with a fierce determination, yet beneath it lay a current of fear of losing her, fear of the chaos that was bound to follow. You say that now, but the reality is much harsher, Lara replied, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. Your father will see this as a challenge to his authority. He won't stop until he proves you wrong. I am willing to face whatever comes, Kaelin declared, his voice steady. I can live a life dictated by fear of losing you. Love should never be a burden, Lara. It should be our greatest strength. With each word, he felt the weight of his convictions solidifying within him. The bond they shared transcended the pack's hierarchy. It was a force of nature, wild and untamed. Yet, as the moonlight shimmered around them, he couldn't shake the feeling that their love was but a flickering candle in the face of an approaching storm. As dawn broke over the horizon, the atmosphere shifted within the Silver Moon pack. The whispers of betrayal and rebellion became a palpable tension that hung in the air, clinging to the wolves like a heavy mist. Kaelin found himself standing at the center of this brewing storm, torn between loyalty to his father and the love that ignited his soul. Alpha Magnus wishes to speak with you, a warrior informed him, his voice grave. Kaelin's heart sank, the foreboding weight of the impending confrontation heavy upon him. He couldn't deny that he was afraid of his father's wrath and what it could mean for Lara. As he entered the Grand Lodge, the familiar scent of pine mixed with the tension that filled the air. The pack members stood in anxious clusters, their eyes darting toward the Alpha's chair, where Magnus sat, his expression unreadable. Gather, members of the Silvermoon pack, Magnus commanded, his voice laced with authority. We face a crisis. My son has chosen to bring disgrace upon our lineage by associating with an Omega. Kaelin felt the heat of anger surge within him, but he willed himself to remain calm. Father, stop this, he interjected, stepping forward, defiance radiating from his very being. Lara is not a disgrace. She is my mate. Our love is strong, and it deserves respect. The murmurs of the crowd grew louder, their voices a cacophony of disbelief and outrage. Magnus' eyes narrowed. You think love is enough to lead our pack? You are a fool. Kaelin, an Omega cannot be an Alpha's mate. Why not? Kaelin challenged, his voice steady. Why should my love for Lara dictate my worth as an Alpha? Tradition has chained us for too long. It is time for change. Change? Magnus scoffed, rising from his chair with an imposing presence. You must understand, my son, that the pack's strength lies in its unity, and unity demands tradition. You risk civil strife with your reckless defiance. Then let there be strife. Kaelin shouted, feeling the fire of his convictions blaze. If it costs me my rank, so be it. I will not let fear decide my fate. The air crackled with tension as his father's eyes darkened, resentment pulling in their depths. You will regret this, Kaelin, Magnus warned, his voice low and menacing. You may think you are strong, but those who follow you will not stand for weakness. As the confrontation intensified, Kaelin felt the weight of his position bearing down on him. He glanced at Lara, standing at the edge of the gathering, her face pale but determined. Her gaze met his, and in her eyes he found the strength to push forward. Together, we can change the course of our pack, he declared, his voice unwavering. We must redefine what it means to be strong. Lara's love is a gift, not a burden. Tension in the lodge hung thick as the pack members exchanged worried glances. Kaelin could sense the rift forming, the divide between tradition and love becoming a chasm that threatened to swallow them whole. Enough, Magnus bellowed, a storm brewing in his voice. You speak of strength, but you are blinded by your emotions. You will put this pack at risk. There are those who would see your bond as a betrayal, not a union. Kaelin felt his heart race, the weight of his father's words striking him like a physical blow. He knew that rebellion was brewing among the ranks. He could feel it in the very air they breathed. But as he stood before the pack, he realized that he had to make a choice not just for himself, but for Alara and the future he envisioned. Then let them come, Kaelin stated, his voice resolute, a fierce fire igniting in his chest. If they seek to challenge me, they will find that love is the most powerful ally we can have. I refuse to let fear dictate my choices anymore. As he spoke, a silence enveloped the lodge, a breathless pause that seemed to stretch into eternity. The wolves exchanged glances, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. Kaelin could feel the tension shift, and in that space, he sensed hope mingling with fear, a fragile balance that could tip either way. Do you really think this will end well for you? Magnus demanded, his voice low, filled with a mixture of disappointment and anger. You will be challenged, and you may lose everything, you putting your future at risk. Perhaps it is a risk worth taking, Kaelin replied, heart pounding. Love is worth fighting for. I will protect Alara, no matter the cost. With a sharp intake of breath, Magnus turned away, frustration radiating from him. You are a fool, Kaelin. I pray you realize the consequences of your actions before it is too late. As Magnus stormed out, the air remained heavy with an unspoken weight. Kaelin felt the pack's gaze linger, a mixture of admiration and skepticism washing over him. He turned to see Lysander, his loyal friend, standing at the edge of the crowd, concern etched on his face. Are you sure about this? Lysander asked, stepping forward. You are risking everything for her. You are the alpha. You were meant to lead. I am leading, Kaelin insisted, his voice unwavering. I choose love over tradition. I choose Alara. Lysander's expression softened, but doubt lingered in his eyes. Your heart is noble, but does it not frighten you? There are wolves among us who would see you fail. I am not afraid of failure, Kaelin replied firmly. I am afraid of a life without love. I won't let anyone dictate who I can or cannot love. Later that night, the weight of uncertainty clung to him as he returned to the clearing, where the moonlight danced upon the forest floor. Alara stood at the center, her presence a beacon of light in the darkness. How did it go? She asked, her voice laced with concern. I stood my ground, Kaelin admitted, stepping closer, his heart racing. But it won't be easy. My father has declared war against our love. Alara's eyes widened, fear flickering within them. What do we do now? How do we protect ourselves? We fight, he declared, taking her hands in his. We show the pack that our love is unbreakable. Together, we can withstand anything. As he spoke the words, he felt the sincerity flowing through him, igniting a fire of hope within both their hearts. Yet, in that moment, shadows loomed in the distance, figures emerging from the edge of the woods, their eyes glinting with malice. Kaelin, he yelled, a voice from behind, breaking through their moment. It was Riker, a fierce warrior of the pack, a loyal follower of Magnus. You must come with us. We have a challenge to settle. Before he could respond, a group of wolves surged forward, eyes blazing with defiance. Kaelin felt Alara's grip tighten around his hand, fear coursing through her. Stay behind me, he whispered, his instincts roaring to life. I won't let them touch you. Riker stepped forward, a cruel smirk on his lips. You think you can defy the Alpha-S will without consequences? You are a disgrace, and we won't allow this betrayal to stand. Betrayal? Kaelin echoed, fear igniting within him. You call love a betrayal. You are the ones betraying our pack's true nature. The wolves surrounded them, their growls low and threatening. Kaelin's heart raced. The air crackled with tension as Kaelin stood his ground, the shadow of impending conflict looming over him like a storm cloud. Alara's hand remained tightly clasped in his, a lifeline in a sea of hostility. The wolves encircled them, eyes glinting with malice, the growls vibrating through the air like a low rumble of thunder. Step aside, Kaelin, Riker spat, his voice dripping with contempt. You've each chosen your side, and it is time to face the consequences. Love won't protect you here. Kaelin's heart thundered in his chest. Anger surged through him, but he forced himself to breathe, to remain calm for Alara's sake. This isn't about choosing sides, Riker. This is about love, a bond that transcends the pack's outdated traditions. You should understand that better than anyone. But I don't, Kaelin. Riker barked back, taking a menacing step forward. You werewolf, if you think this Omega can stand beside you, this bond you claim is so powerful. It is a weakness, and we won't let it endanger the pack. Alara's grip tightened as she leaned closer to Kaelan, fear flickering in her eyes. Kaelan, we need to get out of here, she whispered urgently, her voice barely above a tremble. This isn't safe. He turned to her, his heart aching at the vulnerability in her gaze. No, we can run. We have to face this together. His tone was fierce, yet gentle, filled with the depth of his love for her. I won't let fear dictate our actions. Bravery is one thing, but stupidity is another. Riker sneered, his pack members moving closer, forming a wall of hostility. The Alpha has ordered that you be challenged. To defy him is to invite chaos. Are you prepared to fight for this thing you call love? The challenge hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. Kaelan felt the weight of every wolf-esque gaze upon him, a mixture of disbelief and judgment. But he refused to back down. I'll face you, but not just for love. I will fight for the very spirit of this pack, for the unity that should exist among us. Then let us settle this, Riker said, eyes fierce with challenge. 1-on-1, if you win, we will reconsider your bond with the Omega. If you lose it... He paused, letting the threat linger like a dark cloud. You'll be cast out, and she'll be left to fend for herself. Alara gasped softly, her eyes widening with fear. Kaelan, no, you can't risk everything, please. I can't let them take you from me, Kaelan replied firmly, his voice laced with resolve. As he looked into her eyes, he felt the depth of their connection, the way their souls intertwined, strong and unyielding against the tide of pressure. The clearing fell silent, the anticipation thickening the air. Very well, he breathed, stepping forward to face Riker, the challenge igniting a fierce determination within him. Let us settle this. With a swift movement, the wolves parted, creating a makeshift arena. Kaelan felt the pulse of adrenaline coursing through him, his wolf instincts awakening, ready to protect what he loved most. He could see Alara at the periphery, her face a mixture of fear and fierce pride. Focus, Kaelan, he whispered to himself, grounding himself in the moment. He could feel the presence of his ancestors, the spirits of past alphas guiding him, urging him to fight not just for love, but for the future he envisioned. Riker shifted into his wolf form, a massive black beast that glimmered under the moonlight, eyes burning with challenge. Kaelan followed suit, his own wolf emerging, a powerful creature of silver and blue, embodying his spirit and resolve. The world faded away, leaving only the essence of their primal battle. With a low growl, Riker lunged at him, powerful muscles coiling with intent. Kaelan met the attack with a snarl of his own, their bodies colliding like thunderclap. Each blow exchanged felt like a declaration of everything they stood for. Kaelan fought not just for himself, but for Alara and their love. He could hear the pack's breath held in silence, the tension palpable as they watched the clash unfold. Riker was relentless, using his size and strength to gain the upper hand, but Kaelan's determination fueled his movements. He ducked and weaved, using agility to counter Riker's brute force. Feel the weight of your choices, Kaelan. Riker roared, biting at Kaelan's flank. You were nothing without the pack. Love won't save you. With a burst of energy, Kaelan retaliated, his paws connecting with Riker's side, sending the larger wolf stumbling back. Love is our greatest strength, he growled, pushing forward, the fire of his conviction igniting every muscle in his body. Fight wore on, both wolves panting heavily, the struggle becoming a dance of wills. Kaelan felt the pain of each blow, but it was nothing compared to the pain of living in a world without love. He could see Alara standing at the edge, her eyes fierce, a beacon of hope and strength. Suddenly, Riker surged forward again, teeth bared, but this time Kaelan was ready. He dodged swiftly to the side, using the momentum to spin and deliver a powerful kick with his hind legs. Riker yelped, losing his footing, and with a moment of surprise, Kaelan lunged, pinning Riker to the ground. The world around them erupted in chaos, pack members shouting, some cheering for Kaelan, while others called for Riker. But in that moment, Kaelan's focus was singular. He needed to hold his ground. Yield, he commanded, his voice a low growl, his position unwavering. This doesn't have to end in hatred. We can embrace change together. Riker struggled beneath him, fury in his eyes. You think you can make me submit? You are nothing but a traitor. Kaelan's heart raced. I am fighting for something greater than tradition, Riker. I am fighting for love, and that is the strongest bond of all. The tension hung heavily in the air, a moment stretched into eternity, until finally Riker's growls softened. With a defeated grunt, he relented, his body relaxing beneath Kaelan's weight. Fine, I yield, he spat, rage and disgust mingling in his tone. Kaelin released him, stepping back cautiously, the victory bittersweet. The pack erupted into a mixture of cheers and murmurs, uncertainty lingering like a thick fog. "Let this be a lesson," Kaelin shouted to the gathered wolves, heart pounding with adrenaline. "Love isn't a weakness, it is our greatest strength. We must learn to embrace it, not fear it." Alara rushed to his side, her eyes wide with admiration and relief. "You did it, you stood your ground against him," she said breathlessly, her voice trembling with emotion. "I had to," Kaelin replied, pulling her close, breathing in her warmth, the connection between them pulsing like a heartbeat. "For us, for our love, but this is just the beginning." The pack began to disperse, conversations buzzing like the hum of cicadas in the background. Some looked at Kaelin with newfound respect, while others still glared, bitterness lingering in their hearts. But as they made their way back to the lodge, Kaelin felt a shift within the pack, a glimmer of hope that perhaps love could unite them. Still, the shadows of doubt and rebellion lurked at the edges of their world, whispering of more challenges ahead. "Kaelin," Alara said softly, her gaze serious. "What if this doesn't end here? Your father won't stop. He'll want to punish you for defying him." "I know," he admitted, heart heavy with the weight of responsibility. "But I won't let fear dictate our future. I'll fight for what is right, with you by my side." As they reached the door of the lodge, the familiar scent of pine mixed with tension filled the air. Kaelin knew they were standing at the precipice of something monumental, a battle for their love and for the very essence of what it meant to be a part of the Silvermoon Pack. "Together, we'll change everything," Alara whispered, her voice steady, filled with determination. "No matter what comes next, I will always stand by you." Kaelin nodded, a fierce light igniting in his blue eyes. "I won't let anything tear us apart. We'll face every challenge, every betrayal, and we will emerge stronger." And as the moon hung high above the forest, casting its silver light upon them, they stood united, two souls entwined, ready to face whatever destiny had in store.